177. I'm Aaron Mack, and I'm going to throw it to my co host, Basic Complexity, aka Kevin, to share whichever song, older or newer, he wants to start with this week. Basic Complexity?
All right, and was running through my mind. Actually, I'm gonna start. Actually, yes, surprisingly, with that somewhat newer, some not brand new. And by I'm pretty sure a lot of you all already know who he is. The artist Lil Nas X, and the song in particular is called Industry Baby. And I just like that because I really caught on to what he was saying in the song, and more or less he was just addressing the people who didn't support him from jump. And he's pretty much like, all right, don't try to come around now. And that's my newer song.
All right, Basic Complexity. Well, I will in turn start with my newer song as well. My new ish song is
I like that.
34 plus 35 by Ariana Grande. I love that song, and her style of her voice is in such a feminine range, like such a woman range. I'm like, I love it. Like she's using the lighter, higher range of her voice. And I was jamming it recently, and I love the lines where she says, "Baby, you might need a seatbelt when I'm riding. Uh, baby, leave it open like a oh man, because sometimes I'm gonna leave it open like a side chick. Even though I'm wifey, you can hit it like a side chick. Don't need the side dick, no." And I remember that reminded me of a clip that I saw of Ace Metaphor with the I don't fully attract myself to heterosexual dudes because that's just not a thing, but I can acknowledge somebody's beauty. And the gorgeous chocolate on the Ace Metaphor thing, Chocolate Brother, he is so. He was talking about how, yeah, like in a discussion on having things on the side and people being like, yeah, side women save relationships, side men save relationships. And he's like, we could have side other things on the side, but you will not have no side dick on the side. There will not be any other side, any other additional penises other than I'm the one and only. And thinking about Ariana Grande in that song, she's like, don't need no side dick, no. And it's like, I know that's right. Anyway. All right, Basic Complexity, what are you doing for the older song?
All right, the older song, and once again, at least to me, it don't seem old, but it did come out like sometime after 2000, and by the group, and I'm not sure where they stand these days, but the group Black from their second album, called Blackout, and there was a song on the album that I still love to this day called Questions. And more or less, it's talking about the questions that you may raise in a relationship if things are looking kind of funny. Yeah.
See, I was gonna try to look up that album right quick because
Mm.
I remember there was something or a few things that I really loved on that album as well. I did particularly love their first album, and I remember I would play that all the time. Like I remember that song Lenny that they
Yeah.
had, and as far as singles, I particularly gravitated toward their song "I Do," and I do give them the love. Anyway, but yeah, the second Black album was actually really good. A lot of times, the way it is, artists will, in fear of having a sophomore slump, as they call it, they will
Or the
actually do,
sophomore curse.
or sophomore curse. Yeah, all of that. What
Yeah.
they will do is their second album, they will put so much effort into making it like amazing, but it's a, and I seem to recall that was no exception for Black's second album.
Mm.
But the way the music business works is it's a business, and if they don't see it for you anymore, they don't see it for you anymore. Although I thought, are all of the women of Black still alive?
No.
Right. So I think that was part of the thing too. Like, but anyway, whatever. Okay.
Well,
So
just to mention, there's well, consider them like the younger TLC, but there are two of them still alive. One of them has passed,
yeah, a
and
very
unfortunately, it's not even funny. I just find it odd with both TLC and Black. The women who were the rapper in their group that
you're not gonna get me a conspiracy theorizing, but yeah, and that was a very untimely death, and
yes.
um, they were very, because I seem to remember that the woman who passed away from Black, in Black,
Mhm.
actually, I think that's even true for Left Eye. I think we were both like around the age of 18. But
Not with Black. Um, Black have been obviously after TLC.
yeah,
Um, and with when Black happened, I want to say we were in our early 20s.
maybe. Either way, I seem to remember being in college when that happened, and
Mhm.
I was that age. Anyway, but yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
A thing that people say, and it's like, well, what does it really do for anybody? But it's a common thing to say, and I'll say it. My condolences. Or can I go into my older song?
Oh, good.
My very older song, because once again, another week, I'm doing the older gay guy who likes the even older music. But I'm taking it all the way back to the Supremes again,
Mhm.
and they have a song called "Spring Is Here," and I particularly love that song because it's such an interesting perspective. Because musically, and I was talking to one of my I asked one of my frat brothers, I'm like, this song is it in a major key or is it a minor key? Because minor keys like feels a little more down, major keys feel a little more happy. And he was like, the music is in a major key, but the vocals are sometimes in a minor key. And I'm like, that makes sense, because in the song they're talking about how spring is here and everybody's so joyous and happy and everything, but I'm not happy, and
Mhm.
maybe it's because nobody needs me, nobody wants me, and it's like, wow, that's such an interesting approach to it. Anyway, let me go ahead and name the topics for the week. So, our first topic, In My Mind, Part A, is coming from at Kiki, the one, the only Kiki Palmer. At Kiki, Keke. The Great Tea Dialogue 177, it's back. We're doing it like every other week. The Great Tea Dialogue 177 is coming from a post by @Brandon
Dot.
J and @Mr. Joe Work and @It's Kelechi. And in my mind, part B is coming from @Doing Relationships Right. And it's a post by comedian @Michelle is a wolf. And lastly, in my mind, part C is coming from @Potato Chippopotamus. So let's get this show on the road. I love slamming it down. Anyway, let's get this show on the road.
177.
Hashtag Verse TV. I'm Aaron Mack.
Kevin, aka Basic Complex today.
Hashtag Verse TV family. Hashtag Verse TV.
177.